I majored in natural science, I did research in Kenya, and I ran track and field.
My areas of study have been communication, management, and entrepreneurship, and through the e-Scholar program here at St. Ben's St. John's, I've been able to travel to China as well as other cities in the United States.
Majored in history, minor in political science. I was the president of the St. John's Senate, battalion commander of the ROTC program, and I did an internship in Seoul, South Korea.
I am a social work major, coaching minor. I was on the CSB dance team, student manager of aerobics at St. Ben's, and I just recently completed a 400-hour internship at Stearns County Community Corrections in the juvenile probation unit.
Hispanic Studies and Communication double major. I studied abroad in Spain, Chile, and Peru, and wrote opinion columns for the student newspaper.
I majored in accounting and minored in management. I helped start a service organization on campus, and I studied abroad in London.
I majored in environmental studies and had two minors, one in management and the other in coaching. I ran cross country and track here. I did two internships, one restoring native prairies and the other on my study abroad trip in London, working with an NGO to reduce worldwide pesticide use.
I double majored in Hispanic Studies and Finance. I was the treasurer for Senate, a weekly columnist for the student newspaper, and I studied abroad in Chile.
I majored in political science and minored in computer science and economics. I co-led a service trip to Baltimore, Maryland. I went to Boston and participated in the Harvard National Model United Nations Conference. I sat on the St. John's University Board of Regents and Student Senate, and I was a resident assistant.
I majored in political science, minored in environmental studies, played on the Blazer basketball team, and studied abroad in Ireland.
Minor in Hispanic Studies. I studied abroad in Ecuador, and I recently traveled to Nepal to film a documentary on women's empowerment.
I majored in management. I minored in psychology. I studied in London. I was a member of two business organizations on campus. I was a Big Sister in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and I was a marketing intern at Metcon Companies.
I majored in business management. I played football, and I was part of the management mentor program.
I majored in accounting and environmental studies. I was on the student center my sophomore year, and I worked at Riverside all 4 years, and I'm from China.
I majored in chemistry and minored in Hispanic Studies. I studied abroad in Chile and did independent research 2 summers here on campus.
I double majored in Hispanic Studies and Nutrition with a concentration in dietetics. I volunteered in both the Dominican Republic and Guatemala, went on the May term to Spain, and spent a semester studying abroad in Chile, and I also played basketball and ran cross country.
I majored in piano performance, studied abroad in Europe, worked in St. John's campus ministry, and had 6 choral compositions published last year.
Majored in communication and Hispanic studies. I studied abroad in Chile. I held a leadership position with Students in Free Enterprise, and I went with our student documentary team to Nepal to film a documentary about women's empowerment.
I'm a philosophy major, ran cross-country track and field, and studied abroad in Cork, Ireland.
I majored in psychology and minored in political science. I played varsity basketball for St. Ben's for 4 years, and I was service chair of Alpha Kappa Sigma Service Sorority.
I majored in business management. I was also able to participate in the e-Scholars program, which allowed me to travel to China. I spent a few weeks on a May term in Spain my sophomore year, and I was also a member of the cross-country and track and field teams.
I majored in English, minored in gender studies. I studied abroad in Galway, Ireland, and had an internship with institutional advancement at St. Ben's.
I was an accounting major with a finance concentration. I studied abroad in Spain, and I interned at Northwestern Mutual for 2 summers before graduating.
I majored in peace studies and minored in history and Hispanic studies. I studied abroad in Valladolid, Spain, and Quetzaltenango, Guatemala. I participated in cross country and track and field, and had an internship with the Common Ground Garden at St. Ben's.
I majored in elementary education. I did 2 summer internships with Breakthrough St. Paul. I was also the Education Club treasurer, and I volunteered at local schools. On top of that, I'm from the Bahamas.
I majored in peace studies and Spanish with a minor in English literature, and I studied abroad 3 times in Spain, London, and Peru.
I majored in management with a concentration in leadership. I was on the St. John's Senate, I managed KJMB Radio, and I started a group on campus to get men more involved.
I majored in communication, and I was a student ambassador and was involved in Big Brothers Big Sisters.
I majored in management, and through the E-Scholars program, I got to learn from experienced entrepreneurs by traveling to China and the Silicon Valley.
I majored in history and gender studies with a minor in art history, and I studied abroad in Greece and Rome, and I work at the Institute for Women's Leadership as a program coordinator.
I am double majoring in Peace Studies and Hispanic Studies, and at St. John's I was an orientation coordinator and I had the chance to study abroad in Spain.
I'm a biology major, Peace Study minor, and I had a chance to study abroad in London.
I'm a biology major and I studied abroad in Australia, and I recently went on a medical mission trip to Costa Rica.
I majored in Hispanic Studies with a minor in Latin American Latino Studies. I ran cross country and track and field. I taught ESL to area adults, and I studied abroad in Spain.
Education major, studied abroad in Italy and Greece, and am part of a fellowship called the Intercultural Lead Program.
I majored in math, minored in philosophy, studied abroad in Costa Rica and Peru, and volunteered at Casa Guadalupe.
I majored in communications and minored in management. I've been an executive in the marketing club for 2 years, and I'm a student coordinator at Career Services.
I'm a Peace Studies major, Hispanic Studies minor. I studied abroad in Guatemala and Spain. I did an internship through the DC program with the Center for International Environmental Law. Through the Jackson Fellowship program, I worked in the Twin Cities with a group called Grand Aspirations, working to build the green economy. I was a founding member of the Sustainability Alliance here on campus. And before I work with the Sierra Club, I'm going to be spending June in Amsterdam doing a Human Rights Fellowship with Humanity in Action.
I majored in chemistry and minored in biology. I'm a member of the rugby club and did 2 summers worth of undergraduate research, and I was also the Chem Club president.
I double majored in accounting, finance, and business administration. I studied abroad in London and Spain, and this past summer I had an internship in California with DuPont Residential.
I majored in Peace Studies and Nutrition, and I studied abroad in South Africa, China, Greece, and Italy, and I was a resident assistant.
I majored in accounting and got my coaching certificate. I had an internship with KPMG. I studied abroad in Salzburg, Austria, and I was a captain of the swim team.
I'm a computer science major, management minor. I worked for information technology services and for the computer science department. I originally come from Baghdad, Iraq.
I majored in nutrition science and was president of the pre-med club. I also completed a thesis on incorporating omega-3 fatty acids into the food supply.
I double majored in biology and Hispanic studies. I worked for student activities and leadership development. I was able to study abroad in Spain, and I've tutored area youth through Casa Guadalupe.
I double majored in Hispanic Studies and Accounting. I studied abroad in Guatemala and interned at Catholic Charities as part of the Marie and Robert Jackson Fellowship.
I'm a computer science major. I did research at Sandia National Laboratories, and I also did independent research with a world-renowned scientist.
I majored in chemistry. I participated in 4 service trips to Guatemala, Tanzania, Baltimore, and Cincinnati, and I completed a research project that tested antimalarial and antibacterial compounds in papaya leaves.
Hi, I majored in chemistry. I was a philosophy minor. I was the captain of the St. John's rugby team. I did 2 summers of research, one in China and the other on campus, and I studied abroad in London.
I double majored in Hispanic Studies and Nutrition. I tutored area adults in English. I studied abroad in Segovia, Spain, and I played a year of hockey and lacrosse.
I majored in English. I minored in secondary education. I studied abroad in Galway, Ireland, and I taught for 2 summers with a teaching internship at Breakthrough St. Paul.
I majored in political science and Asian studies. I was president of our student senate. I was student manager of our Inspired Leader Certificate program and a 4-year member of Companions on a Journey group.
I majored in Peace Studies and minored in Theology and Spanish. I studied abroad in Guatemala and Kenya, and I led wilderness trips through the Peer Resource Program.
I completed an individualized major in theater entrepreneurship, and the cast and crew and I, comprised entirely of CSB+SJU students, created and produced a 2-hour evening of illusions that sold out 3 times on campus and toured the great state of Minnesota.
Okay. You're going to be in the outtake.
During my time here, I did
I majored in communication. Start all over.
That's fine.
I worked for IT services and
I have a major in... dude, okay, so...